Joining us now to discuss more of this, Demian Brady, Vice President of Research for the National Taxpayers Union Foundation. Demian, looking on those efforts of Doge since the Trump administration began, how do you assess the cuts that have been made thus far?
They've done a really good job of going through federal programs and identifying waste and getting rid of a lot of contracts, expensive contracts that the agency has for services that really aren't justifiable. So a lot of work on that front, but we really need Congress to step through and make sure that a lot of these savings get codified into law.
Well, President Trump says he wants to make the Doge cuts permanent. What would that look like in the long term? Is it possible?
Yes, it is very possible. So I think just next week, President Trump is going to submit a rescissions package to Congress, which will the first of many that are expected, and it's going to cut $9.4 billion in spending from the USAID, the International Aid Program, and from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which funds programs like PBS and NPR. Those are the first rescissions packages that are expected, and Congress will have 45 days to pass that with a simple majority vote. And then more rescissions bills are expected. And then President Trump and Congress will be working on the next year's fiscal budget, which will present another opportunity to lock in a lot more of these savings.
We're also hearing Elon Musk says he still expects over $1 trillion in savings to result from the work of Doge. Is that possible? Does that math sound right to you?
Well, that's over the long term, and that's going to require a sustained effort from future administrations and from lawmakers in Congress to hold the line on spending. Right now, the federal debt is upwards of $36 trillion, and the forthcoming reconciliation bill, which is going to put in some great tax cuts for everybody, is also going to have to raise the debt ceiling. So, once we get that passed into law, the number one priority in Congress and in the White House ought to be reining in the federal spending.
And we know that Musk has made critical comments on the so-called big, beautiful bill working its way through the Senate. Could that bill offset any progress made by Doge?
Only to the extent that we don't follow up and make sure that the tax cuts are responsibly enacted going forward, because the government has been spending too much for over a century, and that's why we've accumulated this $36 trillion federal debt level. So we need to find more ways to cut federal spending. That's the main problem. We're overspending, and people should be allowed to keep more of what they earn, and then the government is too big and it spends too much.
Demian, and to recap, what has Elon Musk achieved during his time in the White House, in your opinion?
The number one thing that they did is just bring a new mindset to federal agencies. And it's interesting because Trump turned the U.S. Digital Services into Doge, and the U.S. Digital Services was initially created by Obama, and it was his plan to go through the federal budget and try to create savings for agencies, but nothing really amounted to it. But Elon Musk has transformed that agency, and they brought a fresh perspective to other federal agencies to find new ways of doing things and find efficiencies for taxpayers.
Well, Demian Brady, we thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.